A lot of times people become very surprised by how easily and how badly they were deceived by somebody else. And this can happen when you're dealing with certain toxic personalities, such as narcissists. So narcissists, they have a unique ability when it comes to deceiving people. And what I mean by that is, if we just kind of think about when you meet a narcissist for the first time and you get to know them, you think they're somebody, but they're really somebody completely different. They portray themselves as being a certain person with certain qualities, with certain interests, with certain abilities, with certain, just ways of being. And they really get you to believe that. And they also share certain narratives and certain things which they can be very convincing about, in particular if you don't know them very well yet. And of course, if you spend a lot of time with them, you start to see through it and start to see that, certain things don't check out. There are inconsistencies in the stories, their words don't match their actions, etc., etc. But the fact of the matter is, so many narcissists are really good at deceiving other people into just believing there's something they're not. And they really get people to believe that. And the reason narcissists are able to deceive other people so well is very largely due to the fact that narcissists are very good at deceiving themselves. When narcissists want something, let's say they have their eyes set on a new target and they want to conquer that target, they start thinking, what do they have to do? What narratives do they have to sell, and start thinking themselves to achieve that goal, which is to conquer the target. Narcissists are very good at coming up with the right narrative to get people to buy in to the image that they want to sell of themselves. And part of the reason they're really good at selling that narrative in such a way is that narcissists, they start telling themselves, because narcissists are thinking, okay, I need to be like this, I need to do this, I need to be this kind of person to attract that target into my life. And then they start telling themselves all the qualities that they need to portray, all the interests they need to have. And actually, the narcissists themselves start to believe these things. When narcissists tell themselves this narrative again and again, because that narrative is going to achieve a goal for them, they start to believe it themselves, at least temporarily. And it's because they believe it themselves that they're so good at making other people believe it. It's because they're so good at deceiving themselves that they're so good at deceiving other people. So the narcissist's ability to deceive is not just about deceiving others, but they do it to themselves. And it all kicks back to their survival instincts. They'll do what they must to survive. They'll morph into the character they must to achieve their goal. And in their minds, they need to be very convincing. And they tell themselves the same story again and again of, who they need to be, what kind of character they need to be, what kind of person they have to be. And they start believing these things and they start living this kind of false persona, at least for a few days, weeks, maybe months when they're with a new target. And that's how they're able to ensnare people so well, to trick people, to deceive people so deeply, is because they themselves believe it. Of course, it has a limited lifespan. It doesn't last. And there are always going to be red flags. There's going to be inconsistencies. But narcissists, they themselves really want to believe that they are this kind of good person that the target would like, would be interested in. So a lot of times people ask, narcissists, do they lie a lot? And people will think, yes, they do. Like, why do they lie so much? Well, a lot of narcissists, a lot of times when they lie, they don't even see it as such. And what I mean by that is they often believe their own lies. In other words, narcissists will tell themselves whatever story they must that suits the reality they're living or the direction they want to go. And they will believe it. Or they will believe a lot of it. Because they know deep down that if they can believe their own stories, if they can believe their own false narratives, they can be that much more convincing to other people. That's like a very deep-rooted knowledge that narcissists have, that if they believe their own nonsense, other people will fall for it too. And because narcissists are not healthy people, and their true self is something that's unhealthy to most people, they can only really get people hooked on them and want to be with them through fake stories and lies. So they have this way of existing where they're always making stuff up to maximize the chances of them fulfilling whatever objective it is they're trying to fulfill. So yeah, that's just something to bear in mind. Narcissists do deceive people. They do deceive you, or try to. But they deceive themselves as well, and that's part of the reason they're so good at it. And for the targets out there who've been deceived, who've been tricked by narcissists before, who've suffered in the hands of narcissists before, don't worry. Once you've seen one or two or three, you learn to see through them. So you know it's gonna, you don't have to fall prey to these people again. After a few experiences, you know what to look out for. So just heed to any red flags that might surface.